In 2008, Houston finished the widest freeway on the planet. 23 lanes of concrete, more than $2.5 billion. Built to end one of the worst traffic jams in America. And within a few years, the drive home was longer than before they started digging. This wasn't a mistake. It turns out to be a law. It's hard to imagine a more obvious problem. Traffic feels like a container that's simply too full. Too many cars, not enough road. So you add road, and the pain is real. The Texas A&M Transportation Institute found that in 2024, the average American commuter lost 63 hours stuck in traffic. That's the worst on record. Nearly 8 full working days gone. Nationally, congestion drains about $269 billion a year. When the numbers look like that, widening the highway isn't just tempting. It feels like the only responsible thing to do. Houston did exactly that with the Katy Freeway. They tore out the old road and rebuilt it wider than anything else on Earth, promising to melt the gridlock away. Every growing city faces the same math, reaches for the same tool, and expects the same result. More lanes, more room, less traffic. It sounds airtight, and it's almost exactly wrong. Here's what the container picture misses. A jammed highway isn't showing you everyone who wants to drive it. It's showing you only the people willing to sit in that much traffic. Hidden behind them is a reservoir of trips that aren't happening yet. The neighbor who takes the train because driving is miserable. The 3 errands you batch into one trip instead of making 3. The meeting you set for 10 o'clock to dodge the rush. The move to a farther, cheaper suburb you'd never consider with this commute. Add lanes, and you don't just relieve today's drivers, you invite all of that hidden demand onto the road. The train rider drives. 1 trip becomes 3. The far suburb fills in. Engineers have a name for this: induced demand. New road space doesn't empty the reservoir. It opens the tap, and the fresh lanes clog almost as fast as the paint dries, often within a year or two, right back to stop and go. For a long time, this was just an argument between planners. Then 2 economists went and measured it. In 2011, Gilles Duranton and Matthew Turner published a paper in the American Economic Review with a title that sounds like physics: The Fundamental Law of Road Congestion. They pulled decades of data on American cities, how many lane miles of highway each one built, and how many miles people actually drove on them. And they found a number so clean, it's almost eerie. The relationship is 1-to-1. Build 1% more highway, and within a few years, you get about 1% more driving. The elasticity is roughly 1.0. Earlier studies had guessed the effect was partial, somewhere between 1/5 and 4/5. It isn't partial, it's nearly total. Draw it on a chart, and the line has a slope of 1. However much road you add, the driving rises to meet it, and congestion settles right back where it started. Billions of dollars and years of construction just to end up running to stand still. And the extra miles aren't a rounding error. They come from people driving more, from trucks and commerce, and from families moving in to use the new road. Duranton and Turner even checked whether building public transit drains the highway instead. It doesn't. The space freed up just fills with other cars. The Katy Freeway is that law poured in concrete. By one analysis of GPS traffic data, after the record-breaking widening, the morning commute got about 30% longer, and the evening commute more than 50% longer. So if you can't build your way out, what actually works? 2 things, and both sound backwards. The first is to price the road. Charge drivers to enter the busiest area at the busiest times, and the reservoir drains in the other direction. When London switched on its congestion charge in 2003, traffic inside the zone fell about 1/5, and delays dropped by roughly 1/3. Stockholm tried it in 2006, about a 20% drop. And the crucial part is that it held year after year, long after the novelty wore off. The second fix is stranger still. Sometimes you cut congestion by removing road. When Seoul tore down the 6-lane Cheongye Elevated Expressway, engineers braced for Carmageddon. It never came. The traffic that was supposed to flood the side streets mostly just didn't. The reservoir logic running in reverse, the trips quietly evaporating. There's even a mathematical cousin of this called Breese's paradox. In the right network, adding a single road can slow everyone down, and closing one can speed everyone up. The cars follow the pavement in both directions. None of this means roads are useless. They move goods and connect places, and that has real value. It means a highway is a strange kind of cure, one that reliably reproduces the disease. So the next time your city promises to fix traffic by adding a lane, you already know how the story ends. Traffic isn't a container you can enlarge. Widen the road, and you don't move more people. You just build more room for cars. You don't relieve the demand. You pave it, and it shows up to fill every inch you gave it.